Another day, another dollar. Oh, is this the same nightmares, same commercial? Feel me? Palm trees, you see what it is. You see it. Walking to work. You know how that go. Feel me? We're still in Black History Month. As you guys may well know, it's a well-known fact. It's also the shortest month of the year. That's another well-known fact. Today's date is February 16, 2022. February 16, 2022. We in Black History Month, and I have about roughly 15 minutes with you guys. I want to talk about shared history, the history that we have in common. Since it's Black History Month and it has a history in it, why don't we speak about shared history? You know what I mean? This is a story, you know what I mean? The life we're living right now, every bit of it is not going to be told. It's the totality of the story that's going to be told. If I had to tell the American story in 1 minute, these little intricacies that we go through every day, it's not going to be told. It's just not. You feel me? It's going to miss the mark. It has not made enough noise for it to be significant. What has made enough noise is the shared history that we have, the history that keeps on telling itself and telling on itself. You feel me? What is our shared history in this country as we reflect on Black History Month? Months like this, month like this on every year. What is it? If I was to take a look at my own history with you guys, what would be our shared history? What would be what can we relate to? What can we exchange? That's what we're sharing something. So what is it that I'm giving you that you've given me back? What has the American government done for African Americans that we can say this is our shared history? Or what has the African American contribute to America that they can say that's our shared history? And it's overwhelmingly favorable on the African American side because they have given more. They have given more to America than America has given to them. So when we take a look at the totality of it, we know that the shared history between those two is unfavorable. You feel me? If we take a look from that point of view, of course, America is going to brag about we don't know. We're talking about small details that's not going to be seen. Reason why? Because it has not stayed around long enough for it to leave a present. You feel me? It has not stayed around long enough for it to have a big impact. You feel me? But what has stayed around for a very long time was 400 years of slavery. That has a huge impact. What has stayed around long enough was the fact that free labor was going on and people was working the land and everything. Everything else that you see, African American has a big impact on American society. You feel me? What is our shared history? And the fact that they also have a traumatic effect on us and how we think and how we operate in this country. I mean, most of us have to wait for a law to be passed for us to recognize how to do good. You feel me? That has a dramatic impact on us. Why would you want to wait for a law to be passed for you to do good? Don't you know how to do good on your own? Isn't that what happened with the American history itself? They had to wait for the government to step in for them to know that these people were human. Then after that, the Jim Crow law. That's the same thing that's going on right now. We waiting on a law to be passed to say that, look, abortion is wrong. Let's ban abortion. Bomb. We waiting on a law to be passed that says, oh, yo, don't treat Jeffrey like that. That's wrong for you to treat another human like that. But we cannot do these things automatically on our own. And I think that's a shame. That's a shame, my nigga. You feel me? That's because the shared history that we have of this country also have a traumatic effect on who we are as a people, because we are part of it. You feel me? Like I said, the intricate detail is going to be missing. We're going to tell the totality. It's going to be a brush of a story. And the story is that more intelligent, the older we get, and as a human, I speak in representation of the human civilization. I don't speak for blacks. I don't speak for whites. I just speak for fairness. And that's where we heading. The more intelligence we become, the more fairness we become as a civilization. You feel me? And that's just intel. That's why we collect a whole lot of information. The more information that we hold on to, the better we become as a civilization. That's why the CIA is still relevant to this day, because it's a central intelligence agency. You feel me? The United States is what it is today because they hold on to what? Information. Egyptian people wear what they wear because from civilization after civilization, you can see the pyramid being built. First, it was a step pyramid. Then it became the pyramid as itself. Then after a while, they built 3 pyramids and the pyramids stopped. Reason why they stopped building pyramids is it wasn't because they got bored, because the people that was holding those information, something happened to them. So once the information collecting stops, guess what happened? We crumbled as a people because we wouldn't know how to move forward. If all the information known to make cars was not there anymore, then that means we have to start from scratch. We cannot maintain what we are if we stop collecting information and start holding on and keeping information. It's one thing to collect it, but to hold it and keep it in the safe record or bind it together to make it organized, yeah, all that shit crumbles. It's the collecting of information that goes on. So if you look at it from the sheer history of it, the totality of American civilization itself, we know that African Americans had a great contribution to it. But I want to talk about the fact that we have to wait on laws to be passed for us to treat each other with any form of respect when we look at the sheer history of it, the totality of it. Because regardless if all the information fails and everything else like that, one thing that we know for a fact is we know what is right and what is wrong. Don't we all? Huh? So why is it that I have to, in order for me to think and act properly, I have to wait on the law to be passed because of the consequences? I'm not doing it because it's the right thing to do. I'm doing it because of the consequences that I'm about to face. So I have to behave righteously because I do not want to face consequences, which means I'm putting more of my faith in consequences than just doing right because it's the right thing to do. You feel me? That's why when you have a country that has too much laws, that means that there's not enough discipline. But when you have a country that has less laws, you see, that's the problem. A civilization. Let's take back and look at the history again. Let it pass. A civilization that has too many gods compared to a civilization that has one God shows you the intelligence between the two. When you simplify things, life is much easier. But when you have too many gods, then that means that civilization is still learning and still growing. Now, if you have a nation that has too many laws, that means that the people are not that disciplined. So you have to place a lot of rules. Don't touch this, don't touch that, clean this and clean that and clean that. These are instructions that you leave for your kids. And that's how the government treats you when they pass too many laws. That's because you couldn't do it on your own. So we have to we have to put these things into place because we have to hold you accountable for the things that you do, because you can't seem to do it on your own. But when it's a fewer laws, that means that these people are already doing the things that they're already doing everything else right. There's no need for me to pass a law to remind you to do the right thing, which you're supposed to know already. So when I take a look at the shared history between the two, I feel like as a country, the United States government should have done better in its past and up to now too, of course. Should have done better. You feel me? When they were moving forward all the way up to now, because the people that come here cannot escape what has happened in the past. They tend to be falling on one side or the other side. They cannot escape it. You feel me? Nobody have to tell you what you're doing is wrong. You should know. You feel me? I'll at your boy. You should intuitively know. You feel me? Some days I speak light, but today I'm speaking very general. You feel me? I ain't even going in yet. You dig? I'm not going in yet. I'm just speaking in general. You feel me? Why should we have to do that? You feel me? I just feel like that's a lack of intelligence. You feel me? For a person to have to put something in place for you to do it. And when you don't do it, they hold you accountable with punishment. The thought of it makes me sick because I'm like, no, I don't want to be treated like a kid. I want to be able to correct it before somebody tells me to correct it. That makes me feel more like I'm doing something right. You understand? You feel me? I'm just saying though. I ain't trying to insult or, you feel me, hurt people's feelings in any form or shape. That's not my intention. I just want us to start thinking about things from a different point of view and see it from a different perspective. You feel me? That the way you carry yourself, the way you treat others, speaks more of your intelligence than it speaks of the person that you're dealing with. You feel me? Like, I would not want to, even if an old person, which they have, was disrespecting me in any form or shape, which they have, and I had the opportunity, which I have, to discipline them, which I could have, but I did not choose to do so. It is not because of the person that I chose not to do so. It is obvious that I can overpower and beat this person up. I mean, I damn near work out every day. Like, these niggas, like, some of these niggas is damn near old. Like, but they see an opportunity and they feel like, let me be part of the crowd. Let me monkey see, monkey do. So they want to join the crowd. But what I'm thinking, when I see that old man, I'm seeing my uncle. I'm seeing my father. I'm seeing my neighbor. I'm seeing the senior citizen. I'm seeing, if I can compare the way they look, if they were short in stature, I'm probably seeing George Bush. So I cannot disrespect what I'm seeing from my perspective, because what he could be to what I have to disrespect. You feel me? I cannot disrespect that person because of the favorite position that you in. You feel me? And this is how you got to carry yourself sometimes. There's no law that has to be passed for me to see this. I just do it intuitively. You feel me? I just do it because it's the right thing to do. You feel me? I don't have to wait on a law to be passed for me to know that not to do that. And that's what most people are lacking. They waiting on somebody to tell them that don't do it, and you'll be held accountable for doing this. And if you do that again, you will get fired. Or if you do that again, you will go to jail. Or if you do that again, you will not get your allowance. You feel me? There have to be some kind of rule or laws put in place, and the consequences for them to be like, all right, cool. Me facing the consequences is much greater than the fact that I have to do right. This shit is sad. It just speaks to their intelligence and how they think. You feel me? It just speaks to it. It's like, or if you do that again, you're going to be shamed publicly. And it's like, I don't want to be shamed. So the shame of it's not even a crime. They don't even see that's a crime no more, because they've been doing it for so long. It's like lukewarm to them. They're immune to it. It's numb to them. It's like just another day. Let's go do some crime. Oh, let me just go create havoc on somebody's life. You feel me? Why? Why should somebody have to put these measurements in place for you to know right from wrong? Why should the United States government have to have so many laws on the book for people to start acting right? And why do people even think like that? So when I look at the shared history, and I just have to look at the American part. You feel me? If we even take a look at the world, it's even worse. I'm looking at the American part because today we in Black History Month. I was going to go with a different topic, but I was watching something about blackface and everything else like that, and shared history came to mind. And I'm like, so you have a group of people. The United States is like any other country, because most countries, most people are enslaved by their own people, or most people are governed by their own people. If you go to Mexico, Mexican government governs their own people. But in the United States, it fluctuates. You feel me? Although most of the government is mostly white men, but it's a very diverse country. You know what I mean? People from all over the world is in one place. But before that, we talking about the history before that. Because this history that we see right now, the fact that I'm walking around right here, right now, wouldn't have happened if those African Americans didn't put in the free labor, didn't cultivate. We know about them picking cotton. They make fun of them picking cotton, but these were farmers. These were builders. You see, we make light of the things that they did because we want to feel better about ourselves, because we don't want to give them too much credit for the things that they've done. You feel me? We make light of it. They was picking cotton. Niggas was bleeding, getting whipped. I mean, these people was getting whipped for not even picking the right amount of cotton. Whipped for not even doing sugarcane land. Whipped for dropping monsters water or something like. These people were whipped. You feel me? And yet we look down upon the accomplishments of these things. We do. We look down on accomplishment of these things and we degrade them, but yet we don't give them enough credit for creating a way for me and others to be here. Why? Because we some freeloaders. You feel me? As soon as the work was done and the house was built, then they came. When you build it, they're going to come, of course. The Egyptian knew that. As soon as the Egyptian built the pyramid, everybody from around the world started coming. That's why Egypt is so diverse. They don't even look African no more. Because when you build it, they're going to come. You feel me? You can take a look at Morocco. Morocco don't even look Africans no more because it's so mixed. If you take a look at Ethiopia, Ethiopia don't even look African no more because it's been so mixed, because they've built great nation and people came. You feel me? And they kind of changed their culture a little bit too. And that's what happened to America too. You feel me? You can keep going to the great empires, all of it. Turkey, you name it. But America is a place where these people literally built this shit themselves. And when this history comes along, when this Black History Month comes along, I just like to show my appreciation by acknowledging them, by speaking of it in a different light. Not trying to degrade them in any form or shape, by acknowledging them. Like, yo, nobody in the history of business, let it go. Nobody in the history of business goes to another continent and just get regular folks and bring them back. Nobody does that. They knew the people that they was going for. They knew the particular people that they was going for to use them to build a nation. How can you invest so much money into boats? Back then, they didn't even have that many boats. The only people who had boats were wealthy people. The Egyptian buried their pharaohs with boats, so it means that they saw that shit as something that was worth something. It was equivalent to a jet plane, a missile or something like that. You feel me? They bury people with boats in it. You feel me? They buried, what was that? King Ramsey was buried with a whole boat in there. You feel me? So how can you invest so much money? Hold on, let me see. I got 2 more minutes. How can you invest so much money in getting unknown people just to come build? How about if you brought them here and they don't want to work at all? They're like, man, they be like, these people are lazy, da-da-da. No, they ain't say nothing like that. The fact that they went there to go get a particular group of people. It's not they could have went to any part of the world. Most of the slaves came from West Africa. So they knew where they were going to get. They knew the merchandise because they saw us as merchandise. You feel me? So they knew what they was getting. So it's a lie when they tell all these stories about, oh, we just went and picked them up. That's a fucking lie. You knew what you was going to get. We got to start looking at American history from a shared history. From a shared history point of view, the contribution of our African ancestors, the great contribution of it all, the possibility of them making it happen. You feel me? If it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be possible. I'm convinced they wrote the Constitution, by the way. They must have stolen from them, because everything else that they did was stolen. They couldn't even claim. They couldn't even claim nothing. Everything they did and everything they wrote was stolen, was taken away from them. Even we recently found out there was a woman that wrote Frankenstein, and for a long time we thought that was a man that wrote it. You feel me? Who knows how many things has been stolen from women and Black Americans that has not been given credit to because they were slaves back then. They couldn't claim hold to it. I gotta go, man. You already know what time the Dipset share history.